Some women stay in a man's heart forever. Others? They fade into a memory, a moment, a passing phase. What makes the difference? It's not beauty. It's not effort. It's not even how much you loved him. It's something deeper. Something most women never realize until it's too late. You see, men forget the ones who try too hard, who give too much, who make themselves too available. But they never, ever forget the woman who makes them feel something rare, something they don't find anywhere else. This isn't about playing games. This isn't about making a man chase for the sake of it. It's about stepping into your own power, your own energy, so that no man can ever replace what you bring. Because you are not just another option. You are a woman who knows her worth. A woman who understands how to move, how to make an impact, how to shift the way a man sees love itself. And when you do, he will never forget you. So today, I'm going to give you 12 powerful lessons. 12 things that, when used wisely, make you unforgettable in the best way. Not by chasing, not by convincing, but by becoming the kind of woman who commands deep, lasting respect. So, if you're ready to step into the most powerful version of yourself, like this video, comment, "I choose my power," and subscribe to Girlify Mind, because your next transformation starts now. 1. The woman who makes him feel something he's never felt before. A man can meet 100 women in his lifetime, but the one he never forgets? She makes him feel something different, something he didn't even know he was missing. She doesn't just make him laugh. She doesn't just make him want her. She makes him think. She makes him feel. She makes him pause. Because most women try to impress a man, but a high-value woman makes him realize something about himself. She doesn't ask him surface-level questions. She asks, "What's something you've never told anyone?" She doesn't react the way every other woman does. She holds eye contact, waits a beat, and says, "Tell me more." She doesn't seek validation. She gives him a space where he feels understood, without judgment. And that's when she becomes unforgettable. Because men don't get emotional safety often. They live in a world where they have to be strong, where they can't show weakness, where they're told to man up instead of express. But when a woman makes a man feel seen, when she makes him feel something he's never felt before, he doesn't just like her. He needs her. Because now, every other connection feels shallow. Every other woman feels predictable. And once he's experienced that kind of depth, he will never settle for less again. 2. The woman who is unavailable but not out of reach. Most women think that the more available they are, the more a man will appreciate them. They answer instantly, they drop their plans, they make him the center of their world. And what happens? He stops valuing them. Because a man doesn't cherish what's always there. He cherishes what he has to work for, earn, and chase. The woman he never forgets? She understands this balance perfectly. She doesn't disappear completely. She stays present enough to keep his interest, but distant enough to make him feel her absence. She doesn't reply to every message within seconds. She responds when it aligns with her life. She doesn't rearrange her schedule for him. She lets him fit into her world. She doesn't make herself endlessly available. She allows him to wonder about her, to miss her, to feel her absence. And here's the key. She does it naturally. She doesn't fake being busy. She genuinely has things going on. She has a life so full, so rich, that she doesn't have to pretend. And that's what makes a man crave her presence even more. Because when he finally gets time with her, it feels like a privilege, not a right. And that kind of woman, she's impossible to forget. 3. The woman who controls the emotional pace. Most women let men dictate the emotional pace. If he pulls back, they chase harder. If he slows down, they try to speed things up. If he keeps things casual, They accept it, even when they want more. And that's the fastest way to lose power. Because the moment you let a man take full control of where things are going, you become just another woman reacting to his actions, instead of someone he actively pursues. A man never forgets the woman who moves at her own rhythm. The woman who doesn't get swept away by emotions, but instead controls them. She doesn't rush to tell him everything about herself. She reveals herself in layers, making him crave more. She doesn't open up fully right away. She lets him earn her trust. She doesn't follow his lead emotionally. She sets the pace and he follows. This makes a man feel something rare: anticipation. Because when a woman is an emotional mystery, when he can't predict her every move, when he has to work to understand her, she becomes unforgettable. Most women flood a man with emotions too soon, making things feel overwhelming or desperate. They overshare, overgive, and force emotional depth before it's been earned. But the woman who moves with intentionality, control, and confidence, she makes him feel something no other woman has. And that's why he never forgets her. The woman who walks away when she's not valued. A man never forgets the woman who walked away when he took her for granted. Most women beg, explain, or try to prove their worth. They hold on, believing that if they just love harder, give more, or try to fix things, he will finally see what he has. But the woman who truly knows her worth, she doesn't beg. She doesn't explain. She just leaves. Because she understands one thing: a man who genuinely values her will never put her in a position where she has to fight for his attention or respect. And here's what most women don't realize. Leaving without a fight is more powerful than any speech you could ever give. She doesn't accept half-hearted effort. She doesn't settle for inconsistent love. She doesn't try to make someone choose her. And when she walks away, she does so without hesitation, without drama, and without looking back. And that's when regret sets in. Because men don't realize what they had when they were getting it easily. They realize it when it's gone. A man never forgets the woman who left him wondering, did she ever love me? Why didn't she fight for me? How could she walk away so easily? And by the time he understands what he lost, she's already moved on. The woman who makes him feel lucky, not needed. A man never forgets the woman who made him feel privileged to be in her life. Most women think love is about showing a man how much they need him. They believe if they prove their loyalty, their patience, and their willingness to sacrifice everything, he will see their value. But the truth? A man doesn't fall in love with being needed. He falls in love with a woman he feels lucky to have. A woman who is secure in herself, confident in her worth, and fulfilled in her own life. She doesn't need him to feel complete. She's already whole. She doesn't cling to him for happiness. She creates happiness on her own. She doesn't make him her entire world. She invites him into her already beautiful world. And that's what makes her unforgettable. Because men don't want to feel like they're responsible for your happiness. They don't want to feel like if they leave, your entire world will crumble. They want to feel like they're choosing to be with a woman who is already thriving. And the moment a man feels like he's won something rare, something special, he holds on tighter. Because a woman who is happy, independent, and emotionally strong is not just attractive. She's irreplaceable. 6. The woman who knows the power of silence. Most women think words will make a man change. They think if they just explain, if they just talk about their feelings enough, if they just make him see what he's doing wrong, he will finally step up. But the woman a man never forgets? She knows that silence is more powerful than any argument. She doesn't beg for his attention. She removes hers. She doesn't prove her worth. She lets her absence do the talking. She doesn't go back and forth in endless discussions. She walks away and lets him feel the emptiness. And here's the truth. men ignore words, but they feel silence. Because the moment a woman stops talking, stops chasing, stops trying to be understood, that's when a man truly understands. And that realization? It's haunting. Because now, there's no one texting first. Now, there's no one checking in. Now, there's no one holding the relationship together. And suddenly, he feels the void. He realizes that her presence was never guaranteed. He understands that she won't fight for someone who isn't fighting for her. He sees, for the first time, that he might actually lose her. And that's when he starts chasing. Because a woman who knows the power of silence is a woman who never has to fight for a man's attention. She lets her absence speak for her. And once he feels it, he will never forget her. The woman who triggers his protective instincts. A man never forgets the woman who made him feel like a protector, not because she was weak, but because she allowed him to step up. Most women misunderstand this. They think being independent means rejecting help, proving they don't need a man for anything. But here's the truth. Men don't fall for women who need saving. They fall for women who make them feel strong, useful, and trusted. She doesn't pretend to be helpless. She simply lets him do things for her without resistance. She doesn't demand his protection. She allows him to naturally step into the role. She doesn't reject his gestures. She smiles and appreciates them. And the moment a man feels valued in his masculinity, he locks in emotionally. Because when a woman shows she trusts his leadership, his strength, and his ability to provide, not just financially, but emotionally, he sees her differently. She's not just another woman. She's a rare woman who knows how to bring out the best in him. And that's unforgettable. The woman who makes him work for her attention. A man never forgets the woman who didn't hand over her attention freely. Most women think if they show a man how much they like him, he'll appreciate it and commit. But what actually happens? He takes her for granted. Because what comes easily is never valued. But the woman he can't forget? She makes him work for her time. She doesn't ignore him, but she's not always available. She doesn't play games, but she lets him initiate first. She doesn't chase. She positions herself as a prize to be pursued. And that drives him crazy. Because men aren't wired to value what's handed to them. They value what they have to win. And a woman who makes him work, even just a little, stands out from every other woman who throws herself at him. And once a man works for something, he never forgets how much effort it took to win her. The woman who leaves a mark without trying. Some women try too hard to make a man remember them. They overgive. They try to be everything he wants. They shape themselves to fit his needs. And what happens? He forgets them. Because men don't remember desperation. They remember impact. And the woman a man never forgets? She doesn't chase, beg, or prove her worth. She just exists in a way that's different. She has her own rhythm, her own way of moving through life. She doesn't try to impress, but she leaves an impression. She doesn't force a connection, but she creates one effortlessly. And that lingers. Because men don't remember the girl who did the most. They remember the girl who did nothing extra, but still stood out. The way she laughed at his dumbest jokes like no one else did. The way she carried herself like she belonged anywhere she walked. The way her presence made everything feel a little more alive. And once a man experiences that kind of energy, every other woman feels forgettable. Because when a woman doesn't try to be unforgettable, but just is, she becomes the one he never stops thinking about. The woman who holds herself like a prize. Some women wait for a man to see their worth. But the woman he never forgets? She doesn't wait. She already knows. And the moment a man feels like he has to step up just to stand beside her, he sees her differently. Most women bend their standards out of fear. They ignore red flags just to keep a man interested. They settle for bare minimum effort, hoping things will change. They think if I ask for too much, he'll leave. And sometimes, they're right. But here's the truth. A man never forgets the woman who wasn't afraid to lose him. She doesn't tolerate half-hearted love. She walks away without hesitation. She doesn't demand respect. She expects it. She doesn't chase commitment. She attracts it. And this drives men insane. Because deep down, every man knows a woman like this is rare. And when he loses her, no one else compares. Because once he's had a taste of a woman who truly knows her worth, every other woman feels like a downgrade. And that's why he never forgets her. The woman who knows when to walk away and never looks back. Some women leave, but they don't really leave. They step back, but they still check his social media. They stop texting, but they hope he'll text first. They say they've moved on, but deep down, they're still waiting. And the man? He feels it. He knows when a woman is still holding on. He knows when she's still emotionally available. He knows when she wants to leave, but secretly hopes he'll stop her. And that makes her forgettable. But the woman he never forgets? She leaves like she means it. No games. No warnings. No second chances. No long explanations. No begging for him to change. No looking back. No waiting for a reaction. She walks away with dignity, with certainty, with silence. And the moment she's gone, that's when regret hits. Because now, he feels the emptiness where she used to be. Now, he wonders if she ever even needed him at all. Now, he realizes she wasn't bluffing, she was serious. And that's what makes her unforgettable. Because men don't regret losing the women who waited. They regret losing the woman who never looked back. The woman who becomes his biggest regret. Some women leave a temporary impact. A moment, a memory, a fleeting emotion. But the woman he never forgets? She becomes the one that got away. Not because she played games. Not because she manipulated him. But because she was different, and he didn't realize it until it was too late. Most women try to stay in a man's life at all costs. They settle for friendship just to keep him close. They hold on to hope, waiting for him to change. They check in, hoping he still thinks about them. But the woman who becomes his biggest regret? She leaves completely, and she never returns. She doesn't make herself an option. She doesn't wait for him to figure things out. She doesn't let him think he can't come back later. And when she's gone, he feels it. Because no other woman has the same effect. No one else challenges him the way she did. No one else makes him feel as seen, as respected, as alive. No one else carries themselves with the same quiet strength. And when he finally realizes, it's already too late. She's not waiting. She's not checking in. She's not looking back. She's moved on. And the weight of that, it stays with him forever. Because a man never forgets the woman he lost when he wasn't ready, but knew he would never find again. Conclusion. You were the prize all along. Now you know the truth. Men don't forget beauty. They don't forget fun. They don't even forget chemistry. But what truly haunts them? The woman who is different. The woman who is rare. The woman who refused to be anything less than a prize. Because the second you stop chasing, proving, and overgiving, everything changes. You stop fearing loss, and men start fearing losing you. You stop settling, and only the strongest men rise to meet your standards. You stop waiting, and start attracting what you truly deserve. And the moment you truly step into your power, you become the woman who never has to chase love again. Because love will chase you. Now tell me, are you ready to become that woman? Comment, I choose my power if this resonated with you. And don't forget to subscribe to Girlify Mind, because your next transformation is coming soon.